the wrist, watch how I flip, watch how I whip, I'm in the whip, all in the wrist, I never switch, ice in the wrist, I get the money but I never switch. They saying you switch it, you won't get it. You know they came from the bottom.
Hey everybody, it's the Coach, and this is Monday Night Football on EA Sports. On deck, we've got what should be a great matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cleveland Browns. I'll be back at halftime to look at some of these stats and scores from Sunday's action. But for now, it's Monday Night Football. And to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, thanks, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cleveland Browns. Hi again, everyone, with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Godden, and Charles, we look at this Browns ball club. They've been playing their best football of the year, winners of 4 in a row.
And the offense, my goodness, over 50 points in the win last weekend. When you do that, you're not going to lose very many games, maybe not any games.
Meanwhile, for the visitors here, the Chiefs, they come in with some fresh legs as they got the week off last week thanks to the early season bye.
And usually you hope your bye comes a little bit later in the year. But when you get a chance to get fresh legs back, you take that time and you run with it.
Getting toward the halfway point of the NFL season, Week 7 is underway on EA Sports. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line just across the 25. So here come the Chiefs for their opening drive. And they'll be led out by the guy under center, Charles, their quarterback.
And this could be a whole lot of fun because if his game plan goes into effect early, we're going to see some shots downfield, aren't we? What did he talk to us about? Stretching the field. Wants to open things up for not just his receivers, but for anything underneath.
Well, that was the theme, the front page of the sports section, where the columnists write possible air raid. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the coaches view that, right? Who gave away the game plan? I think it's pretty obvious, though. That'll help them win.
They go play action here on first down. Into the hands of his receiver, Anderson. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. Give him 32 on the play.
Well, there's a pretty big start right there. They go bombs away on the first play from scrimmage.
Put a smile on your face, didn't it? Not because you're rooting for anyone, but that's the way to begin a game, to put someone back on their heels and announce that they plan to be aggressive.
So the big play gets him across midfield now for first and 10. There's a throw over the middle. It's taken in by his tight end. And he's going to be down at the 35. Gain of 7. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
Yeah, that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance. That's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
In need of a conversion on third down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. Now on third down, that pass knocked down in the backfield and incomplete. We saw a lot of that a week ago defensively from him. AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Just always seems to be around the football.
I like your observation there. Understands the game, understands positioning, can put himself in the right spot, and then make a play on the football.
And this won't get there. Won't be online either. It's no good. Off to the right, and this will remain a scoreless game.
Now, if this was a clear day in September, I'd say this is well within his range. I'd feel very confident about this kick, but Let's be honest about it. In these elements, the difficulty level gets ratcheted up by at least a factor of 5.
So after the missed long field goal attempt, this offense set up nicely at the 44-yard line. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. That'll move the sticks for the Browns, a gain of 12. Last week, of course, the great performance, over 200 yards. He still wants to be fed.
And they should. That's exactly what you should do. I've not yet met a running back that's run for over 200 yards that says the very next week, hey, let's back things up.
Yeah, I don't need it as much.
No, they want it more and more. They're going to be ready to go because they think that's going to happen naturally now.
Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. We'll check on his status when we get back. Still a few inches short of a first down as they come up now on second down. Second down and inches. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 20. And he brings it back to right around the 26-yard line. They told us repeatedly earlier in the week in our meetings, we need some plays from our defense here on the road early. They got one.
And don't think they were above all week long pointing out to their defense that the other defense is rated higher than them. You going to let that happen, guys? Is that how we're going to play? And they responded to the challenge.
And he powers his way up past the 30. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up second and 5. And quickly now, a look at the Kansas City offense.
And they should come in pretty well rested because they had their open week last week. Ideally, all teams want to have that open week later in the year rather than this early. But you make do with what they give you. So you take the time off, rest up, heal up, and come in ready to play.
And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't have to make contract time.
And he's going to get this to the 31, but that is still well short of what he needed. 2 yards is all they'll get on the completion. It's fourth down.
He wasn't the primary target, but I think it was almost like a check down situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, hoping he can break some tackles, a big tight end, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, get it to that big frame and hope he can scatter some bodies, unable to get it done.
And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. This is taken at the 15. A good return there, call it 13 yards. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. That opening drive ended with the INT. It didn't lead to points, but still not the way they were hoping to begin the game.
But how about going and telling your defense, thank you, a huge thank you. You said it didn't lead to points, stalled off that drive. Now they've got a chance to redeem themselves and maybe reward their defense a little bit by putting some points on the board on this one.
He'll have a first down past the 40. That one 28 yards on the ground. Thought they were going to have him down a lot earlier, but he was able to shed that tackle.
Shows the value of the weight room, doesn't it? Shows the value of the attitude when you run the football. Don't go down easily. Break a few tackles, gain some additional yardage.
So now first and 10 in Chiefs territory at the 44-yard line. Looking to throw. Glenn. Blitz coming, and down he goes. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. Zero accountability, and a sack resulted.
A gain there of 21 yards. That's the number 2 receiver in the NFL in terms of yardage. And tell you what, a few more plays like that, he won't be number 2 for long.
Well, that's what often happens when you have competitors running around the field. These guys know where they stand in relationship to yardage, totals, numbers, the whole deal. And let's face it, all of them, they all want to be number 1.
Back to throw. Glenn. Leaping, and he makes the grab. A good pickup there for the Browns, 15 yards.
One of the selling points of the corner route is usually the receiver is able to move away from the defender. But in this case, he didn't get that far away.
Tighten up. Pull together.
On first down, Newman. And they'll lose yardage here. Knocked back to the 19-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of 1 on first down.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat? And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. Maybe just a slight detour on what's been a strong drive. Here's 2nd and 11. 2nd and 11. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20. Because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
I think so, because then you turn into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
And he comes back with one complete. And stopped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. The slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
Looking to throw. Glenn looking end zone, but it's incomplete. Down this close to the goal line, 1st down. Surprised that wasn't a run?
I am, and you know I'm old school. I want to run the ball on 1st down in this situation because 2nd down, that gives me an option of running play action, maybe throwing it.
Got it. They'll go again from the 3 here on 2nd and goal. They run the counter. It's Newman. And the D not yielding much there. He's only going to get a yard to about the 2. This is 3rd and goal. This Chiefs defense, they're giving it all they got. Back to throw. Glenn. And that's going to be caught for a Browns touchdown. A 2-yard touchdown grab as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. One of the keys to their long winning streak has been scoring first. An ideal drive right there, getting the first 6 points of the ball game.
Do you go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator? Remember what he told us?
Absolutely.
With some teams, I script to probe in the early part of the game. Other teams, I script to attack. They've been in attack mode for these ball games and continue that in this one.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This will be taken in at the 1. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Now the Chiefs offense, they get ready to head on the field. And still no points on the scoreboard. You're coming off of the 3 and out. They're just looking for anything to grab onto right now, aren't they?
I'm wondering if someone's going to take charge in the huddle. You know, we always look to the quarterback, but sometimes it's another player on the team, a star, a veteran, someone with some excitement and energy. It's like, all right, guys, let's shake things up and let's go, because they still have an opportunity to make things happen.
Shake it off. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7.
Here we go, G, get off the field.
And to give this time to the tailback. Not much there. Maybe a couple up to the 35. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Looking to throw. Linton. Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. 6 yards in the wrong direction that time. Not only that, but it brings up 4th. Well, you can see what they wanted to do. They wanted to set up the screen there, but it got blown up.
It's hard to run that play if you're not getting a lot of pressure at the quarterback because the space doesn't open up. They were able to read that one and slow it down and stop it before they could get a first down. Well, someone's going to be happy with that effort. You know who else is going to be happy? His defense.
Absolutely.
He's created a very long field for that offense to try to traverse.
And he got some help from Mr. Football there, checking up nicely. Good English on that punt. They'll run on first down. It's Newman, and they'll get him down up past the 15-yard line. That's good for a Cleveland first down, an 11-yard pickup.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
So a little breathing room now. 1st and 10 at the 17. Right back to him on first down. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. They'll wind up losing 4 yards on the play. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 14.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
A 50-50 ball here, and it's intercepted. Picked off around the 37. You don't see this often. A quarterback of his caliber, 2 first-half interceptions.
It's absolutely surprising because it happens so rarely. You're searching for what reason, what's going on out there. It's not just maybe the defense is playing well. Is his horoscope off? His biorhythms? What is it?
You went horoscope on us, David.
Well, I was thinking maybe REM sleep was off. I'm trying to come up with something.
Anything, right? Looking to throw on 2nd down. Linton. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, he couldn't turn it into much more.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. That goes for a Chiefs first down, 14 yards.
And there's another completion to the tight end. And let's face it, it is hard to overthrow a 6'6" target.
It is indeed. Quarterbacks like their speed guys. They like that huge 6'6" target that they got in him.
They really do. And it reminds me of what one great tight end told me once. He told his quarterback, just make sure you throw it up there. You know, kind of like put up in the top shelf where the kids can't get it.
Another example right there how this defense really is winning the entire game at the point of attack.
Yeah, right there at the line of scrimmage because they are dominating it. It allows their interior guys to get upfield and spill into the backfield. So how are you going to combat that? You know, because they bring in your tight end, keep him in. Your running backs, they have to step forward. Bottom line, your offensive line has to block them first to give yourself a chance.
That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air. And sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a first down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. So without making excuses, you have to figure that this rain has had an impact now on both of his missed field goals.
It's one of those situations really difficult to practice for and tough to prepare yourself against. It's just a whole different animal kicking in the rain, and we've really seen him struggle.
38 yards on the scamper there.
Exactly what they needed right there because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off. because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
So the big play means just like that, they'll operate from the red zone now on first down. Back to throw. Glenn. And this is caught. Touchdown, Cleveland. A 16-yard touchdown. And the Browns are going to tack on to their advantage.
All the receivers in the league are plenty good enough. Otherwise, they wouldn't make it in the NFL. But the ones that go to the Pro Bowl, they have refined route running ability.
Out comes the kicking team here for the extra point. And it's good to make it 14-0. Well, it wasn't a one-play drive, but I think they'll take it. The scoring summary, 2 plays and into the end zone. This will be taken in at the 1. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. So now here are the Chiefs as their offense makes their way back out onto the field. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. On second down, it's Graves. And he'll be taken down right around the 34 after a pickup of only a yard. 2 minutes to play, first half. It's 14-0. A reminder coming up just a few minutes from now. We'll send you to Jonathan Coachman and our crew in Orlando. Coach will have a look back at some of the stats and scores from yesterday's action. Looking to throw. Linton. Now the Browns will use the first of their 3 timeouts. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Here's the Chiefs punter now as he's on here to punt it away. And it's taken in at the 9. A big kick there. We'll call it 56 yards on the punt. And the Browns will take over with a 1st and 10 deep in their own territory.
Let's go old school there. That's absolutely a great coffin corner punt. Someone's put some time in working on that, hasn't it?
Seems like every year these guys get better and better. It's amazing how they can command that football through the air.
Yeah, they used to actually practice with hula hoops where they place them and try to put them there. Now a lot of guys use barrels on the sidelines to try and put the football in one.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. 2nd and 6. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he'll be about a full yard shy of the 20 at the 19-yard line. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a first down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Back to throw. Glenn. Got a man over the middle, and it's complete. And they work this well upfield across the 45. That one covers 24 yards. It's a first down. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football, and it's picked up by the Chiefs.
It's a game.
And he has brought this one back. A fumble recovery for a Chiefs touchdown. And Charles, look at the big fella. What a rumble that was. Not only to scoop it, but then take it the rest of the way for the touchdown.
And now you know they're going to have to hear about it from now on. The defensive backs, he's going to want to run with them, do their drills, the whole deal. He thinks he's the pace setter now.
It doesn't matter what happens in practice this week. He's smiling. A good hold in these wet conditions. The point after is up and good. And that'll make our score 14-7. Fielded about a yard deep. And And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. The Cleveland offense ready to go. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
That's good for 28 yards.
Ready? Check, 59, 59. Get that quarterback and on top.
On first down, Glenn. Going to throw right side here, complete. And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the second quarter. So with 2 ticks left here in the half, on is the field goal unit. This is a 49-yard attempt, right hash. And his kick is right there. It's good, and that will do it for this first half. We have hit halftime. Still 2. The second half upon us sooner than we bargained for. Week 7, second half. Let's do it. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line.
Let's go.
The Browns drive about to get started. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half.
And all the way in. Touchdown, Cleveland. A big play there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Browns are going to tack on to their advantage. Always important to get the first score of the second half. Now you start to pull away a little bit and get some breathing room going.
And now we find out about the fortitude of the group that's behind, because they were counting on getting into the game a little bit more, right? Maybe they get the first score. That doesn't happen. It looks almost insurmountable, but it's not. Let's see how hard they play the rest of the game.
Extra point splits the uprights, and that'll make this a 3-score game now. The lead moves to 17. Fielded about a yard deep. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. So here's the Chiefs offense ready for their first reps in half number 2. And their halftime hole now even deeper. They need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the second half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger, but no time for discouragement. Just got to get back to it, right? Put your shoulder against the boulder and start pushing and try and get back to where you were to start the half.
On second down now, it's Graves. And they're able to swarm him behind the line, and his rough night continues. Only a yard on the pickup there, so it leaves him needing a conversion here on 3rd and a tough 9. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Looking to throw. Linton. And he finds a man with a crossing route. And he will get him down a couple yards shy of the first down marker. A nice tackle coming up from his free safety spot.
Then we got to give a little tip of the cap for the defense there. Zone coverage, locked it in tight, made it really difficult because they tried the crossing route against it, and it worked for a completion, but you have to know where the sticks are on 3rd down.
Now a hit and a loose football.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
And maybe getting a little too cute there on the punt return. Sometimes they forget paramount holding on to that football.
I really do believe most of the return guys think to themselves, when I get the ball, I'm going to make the play that's going to change the game. I'm going to break it. And you love that they have that attitude, but your point is so well taken. What do you have to do? First and foremost,
hold on to it.
Take care of the football. That's all he needed to do. But no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on 1st down, that fits the bill.
To throw on second down. Glenn. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then, of course, they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play. And that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9. Looking to throw on second down. Glenn throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete.
Now, the secondary's really struggled today, but that's a little bit of a measure of revenge, isn't it? And they just followed the basic rules. See ball, knock ball away, turns into a nice play.
After an incomplete pass on second down, that'll leave him trying to convert on 3rd and 9. From the gun, Glenn. Going right side here, and that's complete. And he'll be brought down with a first down as the tackle's made at the Chiefs' 38-yard line. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
Hey, watch the slant. Watch the slant.
To throw on second down. Glenn. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on 3rd down. Here's the 7th play of this drive. This is 3rd and 4. Now a handoff here to his running back. Well, they hit him in the backfield, and he will not escape. And that is not going to get it done. That kind of looked like a defense fed up by being gashed in the running game all night.
Yeah, and imagine their coach saying, if you're fed up on that play, where were you the rest of the time? What took you so long? But flip it over to the offensive side. They've been dominating this thing, and to finally have a play go against them, that's not something that's going to make them feel very good this evening.
So the scoring drive encompasses 9 plays, and the net result, 3 points.
Take your disappointment and put it aside. 9 plays. Yeah, they want to end up in the end zone with a touchdown. I get that. But sometimes those 9-play drives pay dividends.
And now look at him go. He's at the 40, past the 20, and all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown. From one end zone to the other, 101 yards. And the Chiefs are able to cut into this lead.
That was a special return, and it happened because he's a special returner. He has to have that approval from his special teams coach's head coach to bring it out of the end zone.
But let's be honest, a lot of times when they bring it out of the end zone like he did there, they don't have approval. I mean, I think a lot of times they do, but correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes it's just a guy getting a feel, right?
You're exactly right. What's the old adage? Sometimes you just have to know when to break the rules. And if you do, you're taking on some responsibility. But he was happy to do so there.
So now the other return teams out there as they'll try to duplicate what they just saw. This fielded at the 2. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. He has a chance to hit that often elusive 200-yard mark on this drive.
And most of the time during a game, people aren't keeping track of individual statistics.
Are you sure?
Well, a lot of the runners kind of know. But I'll guarantee you someone has sent word into the offensive line that he's got a chance to get over 200 on this drive. That should give them a little extra motivation because they love it when backs break that barrier.
Absolutely. We'll see if he can do it. And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got a jump here.
Encroachment, defense.
Jumpy on the right side of the line.
Sometimes when you're on the end, a little bit farther away from the ball, Any type of movement will get you to jump, and that's exactly what happened there.
So the yellow flag came out, and that leads to a new set of downs for this offense. 1st and 10. Now left side, a completion to his tight end. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. Call it a 1-yard gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. Back to throw. Glenn throwing left side here, and it's complete. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
On 3rd down, Newman. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's 4th down. That last play, though, not indicative of the night he's had running the football.
No, you're exactly right about that because all through this evening, it's been their night, hasn't it? One play here, they get it against them. I wouldn't worry about that very much at all. Just continue to do what they've been doing.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. They'll call that a 33-yard punt with no return. And it's Chiefs football, 1st and 10. Here's the Kansas City offense now as they get set to take over. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
On 1st down, Graves. He's got a convoy, and he might be gone. And all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown. A great effort there. His 4th touchdown on the year as his guys are back within a single score. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
This is fielded a couple yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Cleveland offense ready to go. Certainly want to avoid what they had to do last possession. That was punt the football because this game's starting to tighten up.
In a basketball sense, you think about taking a little bit of the air out of the ball, right? Maybe milk some clock, limit the possessions. In this case, they might want to do the same thing but control the game offensively. Put together some first downs, put together a drive, and keep it away from them.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. They'll keep it on the ground. It's Newman. That's good for a Cleveland 1st down, an 11-yard pickup.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Ready?
Looking to throw. Glenn under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
Sack, baby. Sack, baby.
Charles, you'd said the magic number was probably right around 20 for this defense because they're facing one of the top 5 offenses in the league in terms of points scored. They've had their moments, but this offense just a little too good, isn't it?
They really are, because no matter what you do to make an adjustment on defense, they've got an answer for it.
Now a man open down the middle of the field, and he'll be brought down with a 1st down as the tackle's made at the Chiefs' 44-yard line. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing, playing against a good quarterback like he is, to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front, defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
A good play there as the Browns strike for 16 on a 1st down.
I think we're seeing the effect that runs like that are starting to have on this game. They're a little bit slower, that front seven, reacting to the football, almost like body blows in boxing, slowing them down, and they're really starting to take over in this game.
Now a play fake here on first down. Oh, incomplete. A turnover would have really helped there, almost intercepted. Instead, it's just second down. So now they'll come up on 2nd and 10, once again from the 28. They run the counter. It's Taylor, and he's going to have to protect the football and take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line.
And this is why the head coach gets paid the big bucks. Look at where they are in this situation, partner. Do you throw the ball here in a long-distance situation? Do you run it again and trust your defense and make sure you take care of the ball and punt it away? What kind of options do you have here, and what do you trust more?
Now look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked off at the 21. And a great return as he gets this all the way down close to the 30-yard line. So, my goodness, I would have thought this possible not too long ago, but that turnover there means we have a game again.
Yeah, it's been a completely different team here in the second half. I just wonder on the other side of the field where the starters telling the backups, get ready, you're going to get some playing time. And now guess what? Hope they didn't cut the tape off of their wrists and ankles. They've got to go back out there and play.
On 1st and 10, Lenton. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or two shy of the 10. A good pick up there of 20 yards. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9. Under 4 to go now as the clock runs, and they come up on second. Hammering for the goal line. He loses the football. And this is picked up by the Browns. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. And they had it there so close to the goal line, a chance to take it across, claim the lead here in the 4th. Boy, that was a big, big mistake.
It really was, and as much as I want to give credit to the team.
As big of a play as we've had in this one so far. This is 3rd and 3. Back to throw. Lenton. And he is going to go down. Back at the 11-yard line. He is proving his worth defensively. Getting the sack here. That comes after being named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week for his performance in last week's game. He's stacking games together, isn't he? I mean, you just mentioned what he did the previous week to be named AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Continuing to play at that level. And when you get that kind of confidence going, those kind of guys are hard to stop. So with that field goal, this one's now back within a field goal. Maybe not the ultimate result they wanted, but gets them that much closer. This game is unfolding like a really good book, isn't it? Because I feel like there's a few more plot twists yet to be revealed before this one is over. So here are the Browns to take over. They're working on a 4-game winning streak, and they lead this one as well right now as they start 1st and 10. And they string that play out nicely. He stopped before he can turn upfield. No gain, 2nd down. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively. To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage. Use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts. And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. That'll move the sticks for the Browns, a gain of 12. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different. Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing. 3 points separating these two sides with 2 minutes left to go in the 4th. So the Browns in possession of the football here as we get you reset. They've got a 1st and 10 as they look to try and finish this one off. Steps away to his left. Looking left side, it's complete. He's got it. And whistles, and we're going to have another stoppage of play as they call the timeout on defense with 1:53 left. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They run the counter. Newman. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. Now a second timeout called for by the defense as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. So they come up on 2nd down. If they can get another run like we just saw, would likely put an end to this thing. They'll keep it on the ground. It's Newman, and maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line.
Here we go. 15 line. 15 line. 6 guys. Rock it. Ready?
On 3rd down, it's Newman. And he's going to have the 1st down at about the 38.
Let's go, baby.
Give him 3 yards and a fresh set of downs.
Well, someone's been having a good game so far, and you know something? A lot has been power running. They decided to turn him loose again on 3rd down, didn't they?
They did indeed. He delivered the tough yards. Some pretty good games all weekend. We may have saved the best for last. This Monday night game has been a dandy. Looking to throw. Glenn being chased out left. Looking left side, and it's complete. A big game there, and that should certainly be enough to put this one in the win column. Absolutely ideal there. Get a good size play, get out of bounds.
Well, you saw the coaching there. That is taught and it is emphasized. Get out of bounds, understand your situation, as well as just understanding the game.
And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. That'll wind up going for a loss of 4. And that's going to make it 2nd and 14. If nothing else, they've already taken a couple minutes off the clock here already as they come up 2nd down. Now it looks like he'll throw here. Now look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked off down near the 5. And he's going to get this one to the 23-yard line. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. So you're right there, but obviously the clock is not your friend. How do you handle this situation?
You're thinking 2 plays. One, to get yourself in position for the second one, whether you're able to get into field goal range or you have to try another deep pass, another Hail Mary. But you're trying to get the first one to a receiver, get out of bounds, and give yourself a chance to set things up for an easier shot at it.
We'll see if they can do it. Might be easier said than done. Back to throw. He's going to let it fly. And it's incomplete. So their final drive comes up empty. And with that, the ball game is over. Well, going into the final play of this game, they knew that they needed some type of a miracle there at the very end, but they couldn't get it done. However, we were treated to really a spectacular affair.
Even though they didn't finish it off, you're exactly right. They took us down to the last play. We're still, you're wondering, could it happen? Possibly, even though we both knew it was a long shot.
So for Cleveland, their strong start to the year continues as they're up to 5-1. And they'll get to stay home again next week. Meanwhile,
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? Get ready, no. This be the green light, go. Tires burn the pavement. People want to know what makes my day win. Still here, still in
When it was time to get it lit, we got it hot like fever. Sick with the talk, passing your receiver. All about running the spot. And you know we got breath control, so no need to take a breather. Cardio kingpin, subjugate the dub play. And you know we can't wait to bring spins. A-star quizzes, A+ the final. Vocals we align, we'll move it all simultaneously over joints and rock. We earn 30 years, so you can say we got 3 turns. Live off the board, unlike you and your chess men. We install doubt in you and your yes men. And if the game had veins, we'll insert upheaval the ground. Cause the adrenaline we blend with the sound is our thing, relieving the kings of all crowns. So are you ready? Are you set? Then jump to the rhythm as hard as you can go. Keep it steady, to the letter, right? Turn it up, y'all keep the flow. But can you rock it like rocket fuel? What you talking about? Space out your mind. But can you rock it like rockets, fool? That's a close encounter of what kind? Then jump to the rhythm as hard as you can go. Turn it up, y'all keep the flow. Are you ready? Set? Jump to the rhythm as hard as you can go. Keep it steady, to the letter, right? Turn it up, we giving a show. But can you rock it like rocket fuel? What you talking about? Space out your mind. But can you rock it like rockets, fool? That's a close encounter of what kind? But can you rock it like rocket fuel?
Yeah, in the field like, yeah, all day like, yeah, all night like, yeah, whole squad like, what? In the field like, yeah, all day like, yeah, all night like, what? Whole squad like, yeah, in the field like, yeah, all day like, yeah, all night like, yeah, whole squad like, yeah, in the field like, yeah, all day like, yeah, all night like, yeah. You don't want problems, you don't want smoke. You don't want problems, you don't want smoke, dog. You don't want problems, yeah, you don't want problems, you don't want smoke, dog. You don't want problems, no, I said you don't want problems, you don't want smoke, dog. You don't want. Call us dangerous, ain't too many can play with us. See what this game here taking us, no barber, ain't no fading us. I ain't really saying much, actions be louder than words, man. I just wanna be heard, for your mom to your pop, to the beat, to the bird, man. Cut right off on the curb, like I'm Barry Sanders. Chains on and the diamonds dancing. Game on, so it's time to go when the rain comes. So I let you know. Name a squad that is better though than my home team. We a